Welcome to One Book, One Review. Hey everybody, today's book is Catching Fire by Suzanne. This is the second book of the Hunger Games Trilogy, so if you haven't read the first book, The Hunger Games, please don't watch this video as it will spoil that book for you. I have to admit I like this book better than The Hunger Games. It is more captivating and less predictable. Remember that I said that the outcome of The Hunger Games is very obvious? Well, I cannot say the same thing about Catching Fire. In the beginning I expected it to be about the victory tour, the other districts, and the beginning of a rebellion. But then the victory tour was summarized and we were back in District 12. Life there has changed for Katniss and Peter, and it continues to do so. As the year progresses, there are some hints of rebellion in other districts, but not in District 12, where law enforcement has been increased. And then it's time for the Quarter Quell, a special edition of the Hunger Games held every 25 years. The Quell is full of surprises, and I didn't anticipate anything that happened there. It was great. I am very vague here on purpose, as it is so easy to ruin the surprises the book has to offer. And it's the unexpected that keep your eyes glued to the pages. I can tell you though that Katniss' focus has changed. In the first book of the trilogy, she described food all the time. It was at the center of her existence. Every meal was recounted in detail. The richness of the food in the capital and its sparseness in the district and the arena. In Catching Fire, there are still some descriptions of meals, but her attention has shifted to the appearance of the districts. Especially in the beginning, she notices the differences between the 12 districts and life within. That's actually everything I want to say about Catching Fire, since I want to talk about characters today. Be alarmed that if you haven't read Catching Fire, there might be some spoilers when talking about the characters, as it's not completely impossible to do so without. So if you don't want to risk anything, better turn off the video now and watch the rest later. As you already know, I hate Peeta. And while reading this book, I finally realized why that is, which made me very happy and take a closer look at the other characters as well. So why don't I like Peter? Well, mainly because he's a flat character. He doesn't change at all. He just stays his same annoying self all the time. But let's back up a little bit. Look at the names the characters have. Peter's name is even flat. He has the same name as a flatbread. Katniss is named after a plant, so her name already suggests some kind of growth. Gale makes you think of a storm immediately, and I hope he'll finally erupt in the third book. Cinna's name surprised me, as he's named after a Shakespearean character, a conspirator against Caesar. And Haymitch is a compound. I couldn't find any meaning for it, but looking at the two parts of his name separately, we get Hay and Mitch. And Mitch means who is like God. And as a mentor, Haymitch is like God. He is in control of the gifts that are sent down from heaven. As you can see here, the characters' names tell us a lot about their personality already. Which brings me back to Peeta, whose sole purpose it seems to be in love with Katniss and his desire to protect her. Which in itself is a joke, as it takes so much effort and energy to keep him alive that his claim as protector is ridiculous. Also, he's supposed to be so selfless in his desire to protect her. But all I can see is his selfishness and forcing his love on her. In all those years that he claims to be in love with her, he never said a word. But as soon as their lives are about to end, he confesses it not to her, but to the whole world, leaving her no option of refusal. And then he dares to sulk when he discovers that she only pretended to love him in the arena, when all he did is make it impossible for her to return home without him or even kill him, which he should to win. And before the Quarter Quell, he did it again. He's controlling her just like the capital, leaving her no options. There is no free will here for Katniss, only what Peeta wants. And I'm so glad that he doesn't really get it. All this made me so angry that I just wanted to see him dead. But he's like a damsel in distress. Everybody would sacrifice themselves just to protect him. Don't you just love it when books affect you like that? Katniss as the opposing character is not perfect, but she has more depth to her. You can see her grow as a person throughout the books. The same can be said about Haymitch, who really surprised me in Catching Fire. And even Gale is a more interesting person, though we've seen so little of him. There you go, that was my Peeta rant. I'm really curious to see what will happen in the last book of the trilogy. Please refrain from telling me, as I'm reading 84 Charing Cross Road before starting on the last book. Thanks for watching One Book, One Review.